All right, guys, we're jumping in to a video from Myvaccine. It's this guy right here. He's, and I pointed out that he attacks a grandson of Aaron. Let me blow this up so you guys can see it. I pointed out that he attacks a grandson of Aaron who is holy, doing God's work, and twists and lies about him, but somehow he's not anti-Semitic, guys. He's not an anti-Semite. What are you talking about? So he replies, who's the holy grandson of Aaron that I supposedly lied in an attack? Well, I wonder. I wonder. Let me, I gotta bring this back down because, when I blow it up, it could mess it up. There we go. All right, so this is the title that he's going to use a small clip from Rabbi Tovia Singer on. I think this is disgusting because Myvaccine uses strawman arguments all through this and just doesn't listen. So, once again, and this is probably going to be the last video I'll make about this guy. I mean, I absolutely destroyed him in the last video, but in this video, we're going to talk about how do you debate. So I'm not trying to destroy his platform. I'm not trying to just go after him or even his ideas. I'm showcasing what a straw man is, and we're going to talk about how do you debate.
Tovia Singer has to say about a particular subject.
So dualism means many things, but we're going to focus on one element now. Dualism means exactly what it sounds like. The notion that there is God, power, the good God, but there's an independent agent that's an evil force, that's an enemy of God. In Christian theology, that's the devil, that's Satan. Satan, Christians insist, based on the Christian Bible. It's not in Tanakh at all. This is all made up. But in the Christian Bible, the idea is that Satan is a malevolent, evil, wicked angel who was once the greatest of all angels. But he became arrogant.
Okay, I want to pause. To the viewers watching, what is the topic that Rabbi Tovia Singer is speaking about? If you have ears and eyes, you would know he's talking about dualism. He's explaining what dualism is. The subject of the matter is dualism. Now, I find it funny that Myvaccine doesn't show the clip where he brings up the references. Not being a dualist is brought up from my knowledge, 3 times in Tanakh. It may be brought up more. There's a very famous Proverbs that literally says, and it's King Solomon, a blessed memory, writing to his sons, and it says, "My son, do not be a dualist," and it says something like, "Don't be friends with a dualist or hang around a dualist." I might be misquoting it, but it's like, don't hang around and be friends with a dualist, something like that. I find it funny that Myvaccine doesn't show the references. So the topic, though, is dualist. Don't be a dualist. That's what Rabbi Tovia Singer's talking about.
And jealous, and he fell. And he is the chief blasphemer and enemy of God.
Okay, so why he's bringing up that Christians paint the Satan as the enemy of God is because in multiple Christian books, multiple chapters, it's all through Revelations. A dualist is somebody who believes that there is a God of evil. Okay? It doesn't matter how many fake gods you believe in, like the Greeks. They believed in Hades, okay? And they did not think, the majority of Greeks did not worship that guy. So I don't know where Myvaccine went wrong with this, but in order to be a dualist, the description does not require you to worship that dark deity, okay? So a Satanist, a Satanist, a legit Satanist. Now there's different Satanists, okay? There are different Satanists, and they're all crazy, and they all come from Christianity. Christianity birthed Satanism because Christianity attached a idea to Satan that does not exist and never existed. And then when people were like sick of the church and they're like, hey, I don't want to be an atheist, but I don't want to be a Christian. They ran away, but they still took some of that doctrine, and they're like, hey, I'm going to worship Satan. They should not be worshiping anything other than God. but you could make an argument that some of the Satanists are not even dualists, but that doesn't make them not bad. They're immoral and they're wrong on multiple levels. The argument and the subject is dualist. Are they a dualist? And what I mean by that is there are some Satanists that believe that only Satan exists. Okay, and I know that's crazy, but that's what they believe. It's like the Mormons. You can't call the Mormons pagans because they only believe in one God. They do not believe in multiple gods. Now, the argument is that I'm talking about with the Mormons when you're debating is not whether or not they're a good Christian or they are a Christian. That's a different argument. The argument would be, are they pagan or not? And you have to conclude they're not when they only have one God. It's like Muslims. Muslims they only believe in one God. That doesn't mean that because I say that I support Islam. I can't stand Islam. But when you are debating someone, you got to use the proper speech, the proper definitions. You can't do straw man arguments. So the argument here this whole time, well, not the argument, but the topic that Rabbi Tovia Singer, I believe he's the 210th or 211th direct grandson of Aaron, is bringing up dualism. So you would think that because Myvaccine showed this clip, he's going to argue about dualism. Maybe he's going to try to proclaim Christianity is not dualist, which oddly he doesn't do. He just says it. But a straw man argument would be not listening to what Rabbi Tovia Singer says and then going off or claiming that he said something he never said. So the topic is dualism.
This is all nonsense. There is no evil angel. Satan was created by God. Satan's job is to test us. Without Satan, virtue would be impossible. But in the Christian world set, Satan is really an enemy of God. There is, again...
Okay, so he literally told you what dualism is. Myvaccine did not put in the references. I'm sure he gave references to it. There's 3 or 4 of these videos. I haven't seen every Rabbi Tovia Singer video that's out there. But I've seen a lot. I kind of know William Hall. I'm really good friends with several people that worked with him. And William Hall runs Tanakh Talk and puts Rabbi Tovia Singer all the time on the show. So I will support William Hall often by watching it, but I'm not claiming that I've seen every one of his shows. I'm not claiming that I've seen every single one of Rabbi Tovia Singer's debates. But on this, the topic is dualism. He literally told you that Christians are dualist because, why did he say it? He literally just said why they are dualist. Let's listen, because I want you to pay attention to the topic and his argument here.
Evil angel. Satan was created by God. Satan's job is to test us. Without Satan, virtue would be impossible. But in the Christian world set, Satan is really an enemy of God. There is, again, nothing like that in the Hebrew Bible.
Okay, so when you proclaim that there is somebody that is the enemy of God and that they have all the power, does this sound familiar? They hold all the power of earth. The earth is theirs. They are the owner of earth. They own all the governments of humanity and all this other garbage. You are giving power to a being, and you are proclaiming that they are a deity. It doesn't matter that you worship them or not. It's like Hades. What is the difference between Satan and Hades? Go ahead. I want to hear this. The Greeks believed that Hades ruled or somehow owned hell or was involved in it, that he tried to trick people, that he was evil, that he was the darkness. Now, don't get me wrong, a lot of the Greeks' gods do really stupid stuff. I mean, Zeus was running around raping people. But even though good and evil is attributed to all of them, it's like when you ask who is the god of evil and darkness, it's always Hades. The majority of the Greeks did not, worship Hades. So the fact of you worshiping a dark deity does not make you a dualist. You are a dualist when you believe that there is a God of light and a God of darkness, or gods of light and justice and gods of darkness, or gods of light and justice and a god of darkness. Any of that makes you a dualist. That is the topic here, is it not? Did he not just explain why Christians are dualists?
Now, if Christians come to you and talk about Isaiah 14 and Ezekiel 28, tell them to read it in context. Ripped out of context.
Yep.
Wow. So, first off, dualism. Obviously, no Christian believes that there's a good God and then some evil God.
Okay, so what he just did is a lie. If you had the truth, why would you lie, sir? You absolutely do believe this. You do not believe that God sends you suffering and evil. You do not believe that God is testing you with a test that makes you miserable. You believe that's Satan. You believe that when you are tempted to do something, and you could possibly do something evil, you believe that is Satan. It's all through your scriptures. Your own dude that you worship says it throughout the gospel a couple times. Like, what are you even talking about? If you want to have this debate, I will gladly bring up the references, and then you can just tell the world that all the references that I bring up out of the Christian Bible, you don't support and believe in. And then I will turn around and proclaim, you have your holy book, you're saying that that you don't agree with this, so how are you a Christian? I will gladly do that because you'll lose either way. I mean, hello. Revelations literally says that Satan is going to go to war with God and try to take his throne. Hello? Can a normal human being do that? Nope. Can your pet cat do that? Can your pet cat somehow, in your belief system as a Christian, do you believe that your pet cat has some kind of doorway or ability or path to go steal the throne of heaven from God? You'd obviously laugh at that and say no. Well, a Jew would obviously laugh at the Christian claim that Satan is going to steal the throne from God, because they'd be like, he has no path. He's like the cat. He's an angel. Like, what? So, you saying that Christians are not dualist is a false argument, and you don't even try to back it up or defend it. You don't go into anything. If you want to debate me, I will gladly do a third video where I carpet bomb you with the references. I mean, I have them. I have tons of references of where you guys make Satan your fourth deity.
Right? Obviously, Lord God created everything, including Satan, but we have free will. Human beings obviously...
What does that have to do with anything? Jews know we have free will. Jews know that Satan is not a god of any power whatsoever. Jews know that Satan is not the one that rules the darkness, or, some Christians do believe that Satan somehow has power in hell or over hell. I know that that's not technically biblical, but there are a lot of Christians that do believe this. I've argued with them. And there's Catholics that proclaim that Satan does have some authority there.
Have free will to do good, the nature of God, and to do evil against the nature of God. And angelic spirit beings, as creatures of God, you would imagine probably had the same opportunity for free will, right?
Did he just say that angels have free will? What?
Obviously have free will to do good, the nature of God, and to do evil against the nature of God. And angelic spirit beings, as creatures of God, you would imagine probably had the same opportunity for free will.
So this guy doesn't even know where free will came from. I'm sorry about my alarm. Let me just, like I said, the point of me putting out videos is for context, for clear communication, for a clear platform on what I'm debating about, for or against. On this, we're talking about straw men. We're talking about dualism within Christianity. Okay, this guy literally just said that angels have free will. Where do humans get free will from? I mean, it's all throughout. It's in Genesis, and your religion is obsessed with it, and you came up with the myth of original sin. So the myth of original sin, where does it come from? It comes from Adam and Eve doing what? Did an angel eat the fruit? Where's that found in Genesis? Angels they're drones, basically. They do the will of God. They're like the honeybee worker in a hive. Is there even a Christian on the face of the planet that believes what you just said? Like, you claim that angels have free will. I mean, crazy.
Right? Do we see evil in this world? Is God creating that? Or is something else creating that?
Okay, so Rabbi Tovia Singer literally said that a dualist is someone who believes that evil is created by another being and not God. And you just said this. You literally just, you don't even know how to debate, dude.
Opportunity for free will, right? Do we see evil in this world? Is God creating that? Or is something else creating that? Notice, according to him, without Satan, there would be no virtue. Is that how you look at things? So
He never said that. He never said without Satan there would not be virtue. Maybe you could argue that from a Jewish point of view when you're pointing out that Satan is testing you, and that if you therefore pass the test, you are a better person. You've gained a little bit more morality, and therefore you could be virtuous. You could argue that, but I didn't hear him say that.
Adam and Eve, prior to temptation, prior to the fall, weren't virtuous, and now we have the ability for virtue. So just look at his worldview.
Well, duh. Adam and Eve were like exalted animals. They did not have free will before they ate from the fruit of the tree. Like, what are you eating? So you're literally going against Genesis now, word for word. You're now claiming that angels ate of the tree. I guess you think, I already know that you think that Satan was the snake in Genesis. So you believe that he was hanging out on the tree because he ate from the fruit? I mean, what is going on here? You're going against Genesis, man.
That there isn't really evil. Can't you tell?
He never said that. He never said that there isn't evil in the world. He never said that. This is a strawman argument. When you put words into the mouth of someone else and then you argue about it, that is a strawman. You are doing a strawman. When you come to debate, you need to have a platform. Your platform needs to be what you're going to argue about. You're arguing that Rabbi Tovia Singer says that there's no evil in the world, and that Rabbi Tovia Singer said that Satan brings virtue to everybody. He never said either of those things. He never said either of those things. You are doing a strawman argument. You also didn't show the clip where the references are brought up on dualism. You just said, oh, Christians aren't dualist, and then you literally are explaining that you are a dualist. You're literally explaining it. Like, this is crazy. This is like Rabbi Tovia Singer saying, hey, you shouldn't cook a pizza in the oven at, at 450 degrees for 2 hours. It'll burn the pizza. And then you're like, nuh-uh. And you make a video, and you're like, it doesn't burn the pizza, and then like you're literally describing how to do a pizza and cook a pizza, and you literally say to put it on 400 or higher for over an hour, and then you show the audience your pizza coming out and it's burnt to crisp. Like, man, learn what a platform is. It's the things that you want to discuss that you know you can debate. You're either against it or for it. Your platform can be, you could have claimed that your platform is that Christians are not dualist. So your platform can have a negative in there. Your platform could be that you could have lied, and what you're saying right now is that Jews believe that there is no evil in the world. That's what you're saying. You're saying that Rabbi Tovia Singer said there's no evil in the world. He never said that.
In these current days, there's something evil beyond just human, right? Isn't it? And then the idea that Satan is just doing exactly what God tells him, and none of this is found in Hebrew Scripture. So that's where
it's all found in Hebrew Scripture, the entire book of Job. Satan is doing his job. He reports to God. Satan comes up and says, hey, I've been walking around the earth. That's what I've been doing. He's reporting to God. And then God brings up Job and says, have you seen Job? You know, he's a great guy. And Satan's like, yeah, he's great, but he'll curse you. He'll curse you the day that you take away things. Well, what do we call that? We call that a test. So the test is, will Job curse God if everything's taken away? And what does Job do? In chapter 3, he curses God. In chapter 35, he curses God and goes so far to say that he knows better than God, and he calls God stupid. It's in chapter 3 and 35. And prior to that, on your little argument about dualism, what does Job tell his wife when his wife is scolding him and saying, oh, just curse God and get over it? She knows he's going to do it. See, you guys read that and you think that Job's wife is the bad person here. She's not. She was very righteous. Satan doesn't even touch a hair on her head. Why? Because she doesn't have a sin on her that he can attack her. Oh, but his children did. You're literally told that his children were terrible. You're literally told that Job had to sacrifice all the time and beg God for forgiveness for his kids, because his kids are screw-ups. His first kids, the ones that get killed. And then I see a lot of atheists. Oh, well, they killed, blah blah blah. They died. Death only hits someone because of sin. We know that. We're literally told, if you can find a human being that has never sinned, and they're not going to sin in the future, even today, they will die because there is a rule. It doesn't mean they're going to live forever. They will still die even though they are sinless, because God makes a rule after Moshe that human beings will only live up to 120 years. To this day, no one has ever lived over that. I know that there are claims of Africans and Asians that lived over that. It's all been false. I take that as challenges every time I see it, and I debate people on it all the time. I've debated atheists on it, because there was an atheist about 3 years ago that argued with me that some lady from, she wasn't in Vietnam, but she was in the mountains of, it might have been Vietnam. She was in the mountains somewhere, and they claimed she was like 131 years old. It was completely false. The whole story was false. I don't want to rant, but I'm just saying. But the topic of this that Rabbi Tovia Singer is bringing up is dualism, and everything you've said since then proves you're a dualist. You think that angels have free will. You think that any angel could try to revolt against God. I mean, that's like, like the honeybee worker doesn't revolt against the queen and the hive itself. Like, when the queen, now when something's wrong with the queen, they will sometimes kill a queen, and they've already got other larvae preparing to be a queen, but that's because the hive must survive and go on, and in some cases, but I don't want to compare a queen bee to God. That's not what I'm doing. I'm using the metaphor of leadership and like a hive mind. So the angels are like in a hive mind with God. We are not yet. Keyword yet. When the Mashiach age gets here, we will be connected to God, and we will we'll still have free will, but we will not be able to do evil. We can still do the worst choice of all the good choices that we could have. I mean, that's in Judaism, okay? But we will be connected to God in a way that we're not now, that we at least don't sense. We are connected to God, but we don't sense it. We're not programmed the same way that the angels are. Like, the whole reason that the Torah was given to humanity was because the angels could not do it. That's all throughout Judaism. I know you don't know Judaism, so I'm not going to scold you on it, but he's talking about dualism. You said Christians aren't a dualist, and then literally everything you've said since then is, oh, we're not dualists, but we're dualist. Because we're dualists because we believe that Satan is evil and that God would never make evil, even though it says that in the Torah multiple times. Oh, but you believe in the Bible, don't you? Yeah.
We're going to delve into. Forget the philosophical points for now, which I do think are valid. Let's just focus on his blanket statement. There's nothing like this in the Tanakh. Nothing whatsoever.
There is not anything anywhere in the Tanakh or even the other side stories of Satan, because there was a lot of side stories of Satan coming into Jewish communities through tales and stories and things like that. Do I believe that they're true? Yes, 100%. There's actually a really good story where a rabbi meets Satan and he doesn't know it yet, and Satan spreads slander and makes it look like this rabbi has murdered a man, and the whole test was to get the community to slander the rabbi. There's a whole big thing about it. Nothing in Judaism says that Satan is against God, or that Satan revolts against God. No, Satan is doing his job. He is the angel of temptation. He is the angel that is your opponent. Okay, he is the angel that is your accuser while you are alive. While you're alive on the earth, his job is to test you and accuse you of things, like he did Job. He tells God, hey, and he accuses Job of, he's going to curse you as soon as you take away everything. I didn't mean to say we. Satan has no power. As soon as God takes away things from Job, it's chapter 3 and chapter 34. Job curses him, and then his wife is like, just get it over with. Just go ahead and curse God and get it over with. And she leaves. Satan doesn't touch a hair on her head. Why? Because she was a good woman. She wasn't doing anything wrong. He couldn't attach anything. Why could Satan destroy and hit Job? Job was not perfect. You are misinterpreting things. Job had a massive error ages before the story even began. Do you even know how Job got rich? What was Job's profession before the book of Job? You don't even know it. You don't even know it. What does Job have to do with Egypt drowning all of the Hebrew male boys? You don't even know. You don't even know.
However, oh really? Now again, I'm going into the Bible believing it actually is inspired, infallible words of Lord God.
Okay, if you believe that, and if you're arguing the point that, oh, there's no thing in the Tanakh that says that Satan would go against God, then show the references.
Does Rabbi Tovia Singer believe that? Does he believe these 7 days of creation? Does he believe in Adam and Eve? Does he believe in Cain and Abel?
It was 6 days of creation. It was 6 days. What did he do on the seventh? Did he work on the seventh? Are you claiming that God worked and created something on the seventh day? Dude, so you believe that God created something and worked on the seventh day he created. And earlier you said that the angels have free will and that the angels could have revolted against God. So where in Genesis do you see any of this?
Does he believe in the Tower of Babel and the flood? Does he?
Okay, now now he's doing strawman arguments. He's assuming and he's accusing Rabbi Tovia Singer of thinking things that Rabbi Tovia Singer never said.
I'm not sure, but I do. Genesis chapter 3, verses 1.
Where is the word Satan in any of this? And I want you to listen to his argument. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. His argument is that the snake has to be Satan because snakes can't speak. Wait for it.
1 through 7. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord God had made. So obviously this serpent was created. Now is this just an animal? And he said unto the woman, wait.
It says it's a serpent. So it's technically an animal. I mean, technically humans would be classified as an animal. They'd be a mammal. Did you know humans are also non-kosher? You can't eat another human. That's why cannibalism is evil and wrong. I mean, aside from the fact that you'd be murdering, you cannot murder an animal. You can abuse an animal. You can kill an animal in an immoral way and do a sin. But you can't murder an animal. Okay? Murder is defined as killing an innocent human being. Keyword human being.
So a serpent, an animal, is speaking.
Listen, his argument is going to be that the serpent has to be Satan because animals don't speak. And this is a guy that just told you that he believes in the Bible. So wait for it. I'm going to let him finish, and then I'm going to absolutely carpet bomb him with animals that speak and other things that are inanimate.
Really? So again, I believe this is true. If you don't, then don't say you believe the Tanakh. Okay.
Listen to what he said. If you don't, then don't say you believe the Tanakh.
Okay? Don't say you believe the Tanakh. All right, don't argue that you believe the Tanakh, you understand the Tanakh, and you're gonna deny what this is saying. Now, the serpent was more subtle than any of the beasts of the field, which the Lord God had made. All right, so if that's not some sort of spiritual entity in the form of a physical beast, serpent, perhaps, right? What is it? It really is just a serpent that spoke? Serpents don't speak. And
his argument is that snakes don't speak. Will he do the same argument when I bring up the donkey of Balaam and all that? Will he make the same argument when I bring up how the stars in the Bible have names and God knows their names? Will he bring up the argument when I point out that inanimate objects like rocks and trees are going to praise the God? They're going to cheer God. In Psalms, there's a part where it says that the waters of the earth, the waves will clap hands because of the Mashiach age. They will cheer. Is he going to proclaim that that it doesn't say that? I'm curious. So snakes don't talk. Do donkeys talk? I'm just wondering. Use your same logic. Do you know how many animals and things that don't speak are in the Bible, that in the story they're speaking or they're doing a human verb that we don't normally see them do? But you said you believed in the Tanakh. You said every word of the Tanakh is what you believe. So your argument is that the snake, he's going to say it in here in a minute, the snake has to be Satan because snakes don't speak. Was the donkey Satan? I mean, the donkey was trying to help out his, her husband, because that guy was into bestiality and he made the donkey his wife, which is sickening and a sin. The donkey was trying to help out the guy because an angel was on the path and going to kill the guy, and the donkey's like, I'm going to stop. I'm not going to move. Does the donkey talk? I'm just curious. Myvaccine, does the donkey talk? Was the donkey Satan? When the rivers clap hands, is that Satan? Uh-oh, Satan's cheering for the Mashiach age. See, you can't be a Christian now because Christians believe that Satan does not follow God. So you see where even if you answer my questions, do you see how it creates a pit hole? That's how you debate. You debate with pure logic and not fallacies the way you have done, not strawman argument the way you have done. You don't put words into someone's mouth. I don't know you, Myvaccine. I don't know what type of Christian you are. You could be a Catholic. I don't know. You could be a Protestant Christian. You could be some guy that believes in Christianity, but you're not a member of any church. You don't affiliate with any denomination. I don't know. So how do I debate you? I got to go by listening to you, listening to what you say you believe, listening to your arguments. But you couldn't do the same for Rabbi Tovia Singer, could you?
he said unto the woman, Yea, hath God said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden? And the woman said unto the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God hath said, Ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die.
Again, where does it say Satan in any of this? I mean, if the Haas Satan was up there, you would think that he'd be mentioned.
Die. And the serpent said unto the woman, again speaking, Ye shall not surely die, for God doth know that in the days ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. And the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and as a tree to be desired to make one wise.
Okay, so you're literally reading the part where the snake tells the human, hey, if you eat, you're gonna know good from evil. You're gonna be kind of like God. You're going to understand what good and evil is. It literally says, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. Okay? And yet you earlier said that angels also do this. They have free will.
She took of the fruit thereof and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. And the eyes of both of them were opened, and they knew they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons, right? Trying to cover their sin with their own works. So again, I'm coming from it that I actually believe this. So
okay, you don't believe it because you are claiming that the word is ha-Satan, the Satan. That's what it means, the Satan. Okay, the opponent, the accuser. He's the opponent of humanity. He's the opponent of us, not the opponent of God. He's not the accuser of God. He's the accuser of us. He's like the college professor that his job is to be tough on the students and give them a hard test. The students don't like him. You don't have to like Satan. It's his job. His job is to prepare, the college professor, their job is to prepare the college students to go out into the world and be the best whatever they are. If they're doctors, then the college professor would be a doctor too, and he's going to be hard on the students. He wants to hone their skills. So the tests are going to be hard. The students probably will not like the professor. The professor is the opponent of the student. But the student can beat the professor by completing the tests, getting an A on the test. You can beat Satan by getting an A on the test. And saying that you believe in the Tanakh, when you literally read the Tanakh, well, a version of it, you're using the King James Version Bible, which is a Christian, paganized version. This is not even a book of the Jews. This is not Genesis. You are using a King James Version Bible. A Jew cannot even own that. They have to have special permission to even own it. And the only way they can own it in their house is using it to debate against Christians to show that they're ignorant and that they're not following Genesis. So why didn't you pull up Genesis? You pulled up the Christian version of Genesis. A Jew can't even own it. This is like me arguing with a Muslim, and then I bring up some crazy version of the Quran that the Muslim points out isn't the Quran, and I'm like, it's the Quran. Oh yeah, well, it says it's the Quran, but it's not the Quran. And I'm like, wait, you don't follow this? And they're like, I don't follow it. Well, I'm going to use it anyways in my debate. Make it make sense.
This serpent couldn't just be a beast. Beasts don't speak.
There, he said it. The serpent couldn't be a beast. Beasts don't speak. He doesn't believe in the Bible. This guy literally just told you he doesn't believe in the Bible. How many animals throughout the Bible are speaking?
Right? It had to be something else. And then it was.
Do animals flock when God told Noah to, hey, build the boat, and it's going to be in a couple, years from now? Many years from now, there's going to be a rain and flood. Do animals just get along and walk down the street to your neighbor's house? No, they don't do that, do they? Do animals calmly lay down for your neighbor and then get into a giant boat that your neighbor, who you think is crazy for building this massive boat, do they just get in there and lay down and just chill? No, they stay in the wild. They're generally afraid of humans. Oh, but it's in the Bible. Were all the animals in Noah's Ark, were they Satan? Is that, I mean, I know you don't think that, obviously, but using your logic, when an animal doesn't do something that it normally doesn't do, yet it's claimed to do it in the Bible, you think it's Satan. So, were the animals in the ark Satan? Is Satan in the room with you right now? Well, that's a stupid question, because Satan is in the room with you right now. I mean, come on, guy.
Doing what God wanted? God wanted this serpent to lie to them, to trick them?
Okay, he literally said, did God want this? This guy just told you that he believes that things will happen in the world without God's approval and without God willing it. Do you need anything else from me to prove to you that this guy doesn't believe in the Bible? So when somebody does something, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, are you telling me that when somebody does something evil, that it wasn't God that allowed it to happen? That's really weird. You said you believed in the Bible. You literally just told everybody that God didn't will this, didn't want it, and yet it happened with the snake. His words, not mine.
But God is just. So God tells this to lie.
God also tells you that he is the maker of evil. He says that there is nobody to his left or right that is a god. That he tells you that these false gods do not even exist. He tells you he is the maker of good and evil.
And
You
trick
don't believe in the
these
Bible?
innocent humans?
This guy believes in dualism. His argument is that because God is just, and it says that God is just, therefore God only does good and does not create evil. But at the same time, multiple passages tell us that God creates and is the maker of evil. And this guy is literally arguing it. What would we call that in Judaism? A dualist. You are a dualist. You literally do not believe in the Bible. You believe that God doesn't test innocent humans. You literally just said that. You literally just said that.
That's the good God that we worship. That's the good God that we love. But God is perfectly good. God cannot lie. God's not going to purposely trick them, right? So this can't.
You say you believe in the Tanakh and you say God is not going to trick you. I can think of a dozen references where it says, I am the Lord. I will send a stumbling block to so-and-so people. I can think of multiple references where it says, I am the maker of good and evil. I send. Look at the exile of Judaism. Who did it? Who punished the Jews? Do you believe Satan is punishing the Jews, or is it God? Because God says in Deuteronomy 18, there's all kinds of curses. If you don't, as a majority, if you don't follow the covenant, what's going to happen? There's like 16 curses in Deuteronomy 18. There's 16 curses. Is it Satan that's doing that? There's prophecies of the Holocaust. Who did the Holocaust? Was it? Well, I mean, I know Satan had a hand in it. He's the accuser. But you're literally explaining how you're a dualist. You believe that God only does good and that all evil things are Satan.
Just be a beast.
That's a
It has
dualist.
to be something else, right?
All right, he literally said that this can't be a beast. It has to be something else.
It has to be something else, right? Right? And again, God curses it, right? God curses this serpent. And again, the spiritual significance is it's told to eat dust. It eats death, right? It eats death. So this serpent.
That is the only thing that he has said that I'm surprised that he told the truth on. The entire idea of the snake being cursed with eating dust is a curse that the snake will never need to pray for food, because food is everywhere. It eats death. It eats things. It eats the dust of the earth. What is the dust of the earth? It's us and it's animals. That's how flesh is created. The dust of the earth. Okay? So it's a metaphoric matrix way to say that this thing is going to eat flesh and it's going to eat death, and it's never going to go hungry. It's not going to go hungry. Snakes can go ages without eating. There are anaconda that eat like one time an entire year. But I mean, I'm glad he knows what that means. To eat the curse of eating dust. It's the first truthful thing that Myvaccine has said that I've ever seen him say on anything.
Serpent speaks.
Good job.
Lies. Tries to trick them, right?
Well, who else says that they try to trick the humans and that they send stumbling blocks to the humans and that they are the maker of evil, that they create suffering and pleasure and blessings and curses? Who else says that? I mean, it's on the tip of my tongue. Who else says that, Myvaccine? You don't believe in the Tanakh, my guy. You don't.
And God curses it. So remember that.
Let me get this straight. So God doesn't do evil, yet you just admitted that God did something that was cursing someone. God does do evil, my guy. God does evil. He tells you he does evil. I don't care if you make a little clip of me saying that. There's references all throughout the Tanakh of God being the maker of good and evil, my guy.
Job chapter.
I'm starting to think that you don't even know him. So I'm going to do you a favor here in a minute. I'm trying to show the world that you are a dualist, that you argued and said Christians are not a dualist, and then now you're arguing that they are and how they are. But I'm going to do you a favor. Keep watching, because I'm sure that you're going to watch this. Keep watching, and I'll pull up the references here in a minute, okay? I don't want to keep rambling on. I don't want to keep giving you attention. I'm showing the world that you slandered Rabbi Tovia Singer, that you added words to his mouth, you accused him of things, you put a demonic image on his face. For goodness sakes, man. And in the comment section, you claim, you were like, what? What are you? Look, I said this guy even attacks a grandson of Aaron who is holy, doing God's work, and twists and lies about him. And he denies it. He denies it. He denies it. Was God being anti-Semitic there? I didn't read all of his crap because he's stupid. God loves the Jewish people, but he's going to send them what? Stumbling blocks. Why is George Soros the way he is? Because George Soros had stumbling blocks, and instead of passing the test, he failed miserably. He joined the Nazi Party. George Soros is one of the most evilest souls on the planet that we know of. I mean, there might be someone worse. I don't know. And yet George Soros is a secular Jew. How did he become a secular Jew? How did he become such an evil man? He failed the tests. Who sent him the tests? The Ha-Satan is the one that does test, but who sent the Ha-Satan? God. Dude, you're crazy. You're nuts.
1, verses 6 through 12. Now there was a day when the sons of God, right, angelic spirit beings most likely, came to present themselves, right, the heavenly host before the Lord, and Satan came also among them. Satan explicitly mentioned, thy name Satan. And the Lord said unto Satan, whence comest thou? Then Satan answered the Lord.
And again, he's not using Job. He's using a Christian, mistranslated, scrubbed out, changed version of Job that a Jew cannot even use. He is using something in a text that is Christian that a Jew cannot even own to argue about something with a Jew. Because he's arguing towards Rabbi Tovia Singer in this. Make it make sense. I mean, that would be like you arguing with, I don't know, you're arguing with some Wiccan, and they bring up a Wiccan creed or some, I don't know, some book that they see as the rules to their religion, and like they're arguing with you that you broke it, and you're like, I don't believe in that, and they just keep going on and on and on and on and on. Like, at some point, somebody's got to say, hey, Myvaccine is not a Wiccan. Why is a Wiccan bringing up Wiccan rules and Wiccan books to a Christian and arguing Wiccan points when Myvaccine isn't even a Wiccan? Like,
and said, from going to and fro in the earth and from walking up and down in it. Again,
this drives me nuts.
The spiritual dimension, earth is the physical dimension. So
have integrity.
Angelic spirit being, right, is going back and forth from heaven to earth. And it looks like on his own accord.
All right, so we all know the story of Job. Well, my bad. Christians do not know the story of Job at all. Where does Job curse God? You can't tell me. And yet it's several times. Let me ask you this. When does Job confirm that he is not a dualist? When does Job say that God sends him evil and sends him good? You don't know. You don't know. It's when he's talking to his wife. Actually, let's get off this. I think it'd be Job chapter 2. So let's go Habad, Torah, Job. I believe it's chapter 2. It's when his wife is arguing with him. Let's look at this up. Okay. Uh-oh, now the adversary. Oh, he's an adversary. That's talking about the Ha-Satan. Okay, wait. Okay, here it is. Here we go. Okay, we're in Job chapter 2. Where's it at? I just had it. Where's it at? It's where his wife comes in. Right here. Okay. So now the adversary departed from the presence of the Lord, okay? And he smote Job with several boils from the sole of his foot to the head of his crown. I want you to picture this, okay? I want you to picture this man. He's miserable with these boils, and his wife sees that, okay? Look at what his wife says here in a minute. Then he took himself a potsherd to scratch himself with, and he sat down in the midst of the ashes. He's scratching himself with these boils. He's trying not to break them. He's miserable. And his wife says, then his wife said to him, do you still maintain your sincerity? Blaspheme God and die. She is literally, she knows her husband's heart. She knows that he will blaspheme God. He will curse God. And she says, just do it and die. She's being sarcastic. She's being mean, but she's being sarcastic and speaking the truth. She was a prophetess. She was able to see into the future. She wasn't an evil wife. Think about it. You read this and you're like, this woman has no sympathy for her husband. She literally said, do you still maintain your sincerity? She knew what was going on. She knew that the Satan was involved in this, and he's really going after Job, and he's testing Job. And what does he say to her? And he said to her, you talk as one of the disgraceful women talks. Shall we also accept the good from God and not accept the evil? Despite all this, Job did not sin with his lips at that time. But look at what he says to her. Look at what he says to her. Who creates good and evil and sends it to Job? It's God. Job is literally telling you that he's not a dualist. Job's sin was not being a dualist. Job's sin was being silent. He did not do what Psalms 1 through 3, well, it's technically 1 through 6, tells you that a righteous person does. A righteous person does not see evil people doing something evil and stands with them, sits in comfort with them, or doesn't speak. What did he do with Pharaoh? See, you don't even know the story, so there's no sense in even educating you. Job literally admits that God sends him evil and good. Hello? Job is not a dualist, but you sure are. You sure are. I do not know offhand. Let's see here. Torah, Hashem is maker of good and evil. Because I don't think you know, bro. I really don't think you know. Good and evil. Da, 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 da. I might have it in my notes somewhere. It might be here. I don't know. I don't want to sit here and read a bunch of stuff while I'm still recording, but yeah. But God says multiple times that he does good and evil. Here's a nature of good and evil from the Jewish perspective. I don't know if this is legit. Let's see here. I don't know this organization. Okay, this is correct. This is correct. That's correct. Central to the Jewish thought is the concept of free will. Humans have the ability to choose between good and evil. Okay. I have set before you life, death, blessings, and curse. Therefore, choose life. Who sends curses and death to humans? It's God. Deuteronomy 30:19. Now, Tikkun Olam is what the Jews are chosen for. You probably didn't even know that. Okay, this is something very interesting a lot of Christians don't know from Genesis. This is where God speaks to Cain. God literally says, Cain, why did you kill your brother? Just because sin comes to the door doesn't mean you need to open it. Oh, but I thought original sin was a legit thing. I thought that everybody had to sin because original sin, the Christian myth of original sin states that every human is born in sin. They must sin. They're going to do sin. That's funny because God contradicts that right here in Genesis 4:7. Like, what? You probably didn't know that. You probably didn't know that. All right, so okay, a lot of it, yeah, this seems kosher from what I'm seeing. In Judaism, Satan is not seen as an independent evil force or a fallen angel. That is correct, but an agent of God. 100% correct. It literally says the references of Job is used. I mean, hello, dude. Like you don't know anything, man. The development of Satan as an evil entity opposing God is largely a post-biblical concept that evolved in early Christianity. That's funny because Rabbi Tovia Singer said there was nothing in Tanakh that a Christian can use to point that Satan is somehow against God. You said there is. You don't show any of the references to the rest of the video. And this website is literally backing Rabbi Tovia Singer. So is this website also lying? Like, I mean, like, use your brain, dude. Use your brain. All right. I don't know this. Dualism. Here we go. The idea of Satan as God's adversary suggests a dualistic view, which is alien to Judaism's monotheism. Well, that's funny because Rabbi Tovia Singer's entire topic was dualism and what it was. Okay, I cannot find. Okay, responsibility. All right, this is not what I wanted. Just give me a minute. Bear with me. Torah. I'm not allowed to type out the full title of God in case anybody doesn't know anything. Uh-oh, Isaiah 45:7. I knew it was in Isaiah somewhere. Isaiah 45:7. Oh, let's go there, shall we? Send prophets. Where's Isaiah? Yeah. Was it 45? Yeah, 45:7. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, Myvaccine. Uh-oh, Myvaccine. Uh-oh. Who's speaking in this? Who's speaking in this right here? Who's speaking in this? Who's saying that they create all evil? I am the Lord, and there is no other besides me. There is no God. I will strengthen you, although you have not known me. Uh-oh. I thought Christians believed that only Christians got healings, got blessings from God, all this other stuff, and like every time that you see like a Hindu or a Buddhist that has a miraculous healing, I mean, or somebody testifying to their false religion and their false gods, Christians try to claim it's Satan. But right here it just says, I will strengthen you although you have not known me. God sends blessings to everybody. Like when an atheist is hurt, who do you think heals them? Well, I don't know. And let me back up. I'm not going to try to put words in his mouth. I have never heard Myvaccine claim that other people in other religions or atheists are not healed and don't get miracles. But I am going to say this is a majority Christian idea that they don't. They claim that there's tricks going on. Satan healed them to trick them. Or they claim that it was a healing for a test by Satan. No. Who's testing them? It's God. Uh-oh. What's it say right here, Myvaccine? Myvaccine is J-Man. Who forms light and creates darkness? But you believe Satan is the dark one. Who makes peace and creates evil? You believe that Satan makes evil. I am the Lord who makes all these. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. You're completely going against Tanakh, my friend. And you said you believed in it.
Right? He's not saying, as you told me, I'm answering and doing what you've told me. No, it seems like he's independent, doesn't it? He's the one. I'm going up and down. I'm walking.
Okay, so it sounds like you're trying to claim that this was Satan's idea, Satan's plan, and that Satan is just doing it independently. That's what it sounds like to me. And that's not what it says at all in chapter 1. I mean, is that your claim? Are you claiming that Satan is just doing what he wants to do?
On his own accord, right? He's not saying, as you told me, I'm answering and doing what you've told me. No, it seems like he's independent, doesn't it? He's the one. I'm going up and down. I'm walking to and fro. And the Lord said unto Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him?
I don't know about you, but it sounds like to me that this guy just claimed that Satan independently went out and tortured Job and killed his family, destroyed his livestock, ruined his riches. You know, he's burning down his life. I don't know about you, but that's what it sounded like to me. Am I hearing it wrong?
I'm going up and down. I'm walking.
I got to rewind a little bit more. My bad.
And doing what you've told me. No, it seems like...
Wait a minute.
Should have mentioned earth is the physical dimension. So this angelic spirit being, right, is going back and forth from heaven to earth. And it looks like on his own accord, right? He's not saying, as you told me, I'm answering and doing what you've told.
As you told me, what is Satan's job? Who gave Satan the job? What do you mean? So Satan has to be told every single day by God what his job is? It sounds like to me that you are a dualist.
Me. No, it seems like he's independent, doesn't it? He's the one. I'm going up and down. I'm walking to and fro.
Was this the will of God, yes or no? Was it the will of God that Satan tempt and test Job and cause all these problems? Yes or no? It's a yes or no question. Because it tells you that it literally tells you in the story that it was God's will. It sounds like you're trying to say that Satan was an independent, angelic being that just does whatever he does, and he didn't, and you're arguing that he didn't tell Job, or in the story he didn't say, as you commanded me, God, I'm doing this. Like, how many times does Satan have to be commanded to do a job? I don't know what your job is, but I know that I've had many different jobs in my life. I've had many hats on my head. I didn't have to be told constantly by my boss that my job was whatever my job is. Like, what? Does the queen bee in the honey hive have to tell the drones every damn day, go out and find flowers? We're going to make honey today. I mean, maybe they do. I don't know. They sing and they buzz. Maybe. I don't know. But like, what?
Bro. And the Lord said unto Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and an upright man, one that feareth God?
Okay. What is a dualist? A dualist is someone that believes that there is an opponent to God and that there is some being that creates darkness and evil, and then there's a being that creates good and whatever. That's what a dualist is. It's yin and yang. You know, in the 80s, how all these Christians hated the yin yang and they claimed it was satanic. It's kind of funny. You're literally word for word describing yin and yang. And Judaism says, well, it's not Judaism, but it's God says, and many of the kings and the prophets say, don't be a dualist. You are a dualist.
And escheweth evil. So notice, Lord God has judged him. Lord God speaks truth.
I'm going to let this play for a second. Let me bring up dualist. This guy probably doesn't know.
The serpent spoke lies.
I believe it. Proverbs is one of the best ones. Proverbs.
Does Satan follow what God says? Does he follow the judgment? Or is he independent and mocks God and challenges God? Then Satan...
I know it's in Proverbs. There's a bunch of different ones.
God for naught? Wow. He doesn't trust the judgment of God. God's wrong, according to Satan. Hast not thou made a hedge about him, and about his house, and about all that he hath on every side? Thou hast blessed the work of his hands.
Okay, I don't want to use this version. This is a disgusting Christian version of the Bible. So let's go to Proverbs.
Lord God has a certain judgment about Job.
Oh, I'm in Prophets. My bad.
And Satan completely disagrees, right, rejects the judgment of God, kind of mocks God.
Dude, this guy is such a dualist. Did you hear what he said? See, I can do two things at once. I can research and listen. Did you hear what he said?
Face. Wow. Lord God has a certain judgment about Job that ends up being correct, by the way, and Satan completely disagrees, right? Rejects the
He says that Satan disagrees with God.
judgment of God,
He says that Satan rejects the judgment of God.
kind of mocks God, right?
He says that Satan mocks God. My dude, maybe it's your Christian version of Job, but that is not found anywhere in Job. What you just claimed, those three things, are not found anywhere in Job. I haven't read the Christian version of Job in years and years and years. Maybe it exists there. There's a lot of things that you guys implant, like the word virgin. You all put in the word virgin for the story of Hezekiah when it doesn't say virgin. Or virgin, I'm sorry. I was slurring my speech. So you guys then take the story of Hezekiah and you're like, oh, that's a prophecy about J-Man, when it's not. And it even tells you in the story who this prince is that Isaiah is talking about. So, according to your own story, you think Hezekiah was born of a virgin. Like, what? You guys implanted an entire chapter in Malachi. An entire chapter. How many chapters are in Malachi? Christian can't answer that, because the moment that they do it and they give the truthful answer, it means they weren't following the Christian books, any of them. There's like 45,000 versions of the Bible that are Christian, and they all have multiple chapters in Malachi that are not in there at all in the original. You guys added stuff to Genesis. You took away stuff from Genesis. You don't believe that animals have a soul. The majority of Christians do not believe that animals have a soul. That's why you all feel guilty when you have to lie about to your kids when their little hamster or their kitty cat dies, and you're like, oh yeah, they're up in heaven, and you all feel guilty about it. I've seen your all's confessions. I feel bad. I lied to my kid. You didn't lie. Where do you think souls go? Oh, you didn't know that they're souls. Well, it's right there in Genesis. Oh, it's not in your Genesis? I wonder why. It's clearly in mine. It says that God created every living being that creeps and crawls in which there is a soul. Oh, but yours doesn't have it. You guys add, in Psalms, you all added an entire verse of repentance where you all added the phrase, kiss the Son, and you spelled it S-O-N, and then you claim, oh, that's talking about J-Man. It doesn't even exist. That verse doesn't even exist. Like,
of these angelic spirits.
You're literally saying that Satan disagreed with God, didn't agree with God's judgment.
All that he hath on every side. Thou hast blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land. But put forth thine hand now, and touch all that he hath, and he will curse thee to thy face. Wow.
Satan is literally saying, hey, that guy's great, but the moment you take away stuff, he's going to curse you to your face. What does he do in chapter 34? What does he do in chapter 3? He curses God. The end. Satan was correct.
Wow.
Because why was Satan correct on that? Because he knows his job. It doesn't say that God disagrees with him. There's no argument there. God is not saying, oh, my servant would never do that. No, God is speaking in kindness and in truth. Let me get off this disgusting thing. This might be one of them about dualists, maybe. Let me go to find. No, wrong one. I didn't want to tab. Like, I'm doing this live while I'm recording this. This isn't going to be edited out. Like, okay, it's not on this one. There are references to not being a dualist. Torah, do not. I want to say it's do not associate with dualist. I don't know. Oh. Well. All right. Let's go there. So it was 24, Mishle 24:21. Okay, so I knew it was in Proverbs 24:21. My son, fear the Lord and the king, do not mingle with duelists. Okay, well, you already had Rabbi Tovia Singer tell you what a duelist was. Do not mingle with duelists who say that there are two powers governing the world. Who governs the world? Well, according to Revelations and multiple references in Paul, you claim that the one who governs the world is Satan. There are literal references to that in Christianity. I'm not going to post them here. I know them. I will gladly debate you on a third video if you want, where if you want to debate our Christian duelist, I will gladly do that, and then I'll throw them at you on there. So if you want to challenge me on that, let's go for it. I knew it was in Proverbs somewhere. Mishle is the Hebrew word for Proverbs. Okay, it's the wisdom of Proverbs. But this guy is, listen, guys. Christians are dualist. Your holy book. Now, it's not really holy, but that's what you call it. Your holy book says multiple times that you are a dualist. Multiple times. So if you want to claim you're not a dualist, I will then throw in your face all the times that your book, your references, your Paul, your Jesus, that crazy psycho prophet John who wrote Revelations, I'll throw it in your face and I'll show you where it says that Satan rules the world, owns the governments, has control of the earth, is going to go against the throne of heaven and try to take it, and da-da-da-da-da-da. You all believe in dual powers. There's only one power. There's one. There's not two. Like, you're literally reading a story where the only power that Satan has was literally given to him by God. God is the one that tells him, okay, you can do this, you can do that, you can do this, you can do that. But don't kill Job. And then you want to argue that Satan has power when you're literally reading from an entire book that proves that the only power he gets is when God allows him to do something. Like, yes, Satan is the one testing you. Satan is the one that may deliver some suffering. Okay, but he's doing it via God because he's an angel. That's his job. It's his job. Like, what? I already showed you where Job tells his wife that God brings the good and the evil. You don't believe that, though. So there's no sense in playing this. I've only done 8 minutes, man, but I've interrupted it many, many times. Man, what are we going on? Like, how long have I been recording? I've been recording... I'm over an hour long destroying you, Myvaccine. You've only done your video for 8 minutes and 7 seconds. I've destroyed you with an hour of content. Yeah, some of it is me searching around. I knew the references existed because I studied the Tanakh. I follow the Tanakh. I believe in the Tanakh. Nowhere in Job does it say that Satan is going against God or that Satan disagrees with God's judgment. And that's what you just said.
Lord God has a certain judgment about Job that ends up being correct, by the way, and Satan...
No. God in the story is talking in the present, and he's talking good about Job. This is a Jewish thing that Jews do. They will talk good about someone even when that person has errors. Job had errors. What God is doing is showing that he's a righteous and just God. He's speaking good about Job in the present. Where does God say he's not going to do that? Where does he say that at? It's not in there. It might be in your version. I haven't read your version of Job in many, many years. It might be there. Send me a reference. Send me a reference where God and Satan are arguing about what Job will do. Because my book says, Satan says, hey, he doesn't like you. He will curse you. He only likes you for the things you are giving. In today's society, we call that a gold digger or a leech. Think about that for a minute. A friend that you have that only is good to you and likes you because you are giving them things, what do you call them? They're a parasite. They're a leech. They're a problem. So if anything, Satan is accusing him. That's his job. Where does God say, no, he won't do that? Where does he say that at? Where is this big argument? See, you guys don't believe the Bible. You don't. Satan says that I don't even want to read from your garbage. I don't want to read from your garbage. Your garbage is paganism. It's chapter 1. And the adversary answered the Lord and said, does Job fear God for nothing? Haven't you made a hedge around him, his household, and all that he has on all sides? He's blessed them, is what it's talking about. You've made walls where nothing can hurt him. You have blessed the work of his hands, and his livestock has spread out in the land. But now stretch forth your hand and touch all that he has. He will not will he not blaspheme to your face? Satan is literally saying, strike him, God, and he will blaspheme your face. Who is it that hurts Job? It's God. Satan's job is to accuse and test. Now the Lord said to the adversary, behold, all that he has is in your hands. Only upon him do not stretch forth your hand, which means don't kill him. Now the adversary left the presence of the Lord. Well, that was a quick argument. For somebody that believes that God and Satan argued, that was pretty quick. Where's the argument? Because now what does it do? Now we switch scenes. This entire thing is going to tell you that Job's daughters and Job's sons are doing bad things. Like, here you go. While this one was still talking, another one came and said, wait a minute. This is somebody reporting that all his children are dying. Okay, yeah. And so in the story, one guy comes up and says, hey, or maybe it's not a guy. I think it was actually one of his sons. He gets like 3 reports that people are dying and that people are cursed, and that, like, literally at the same time, they're all running up to him, and he's like, what's happening? And he said, from my mother's womb I emerged naked, and I will return there naked. The Lord gave, and the Lord took. Who is it that took away from Job? You said you believed in the Bible. You said you believed in the Bible. Who is it that took away from Job? Now, at this point, he doesn't sin. Why doesn't it say that in chapter 3? That's pretty funny. Chapter 3 is where he first blasphemes God. Uh-oh. Afterwards, Job opened his mouth and cursed his day. And then Job raised his voice and said, so he's yelling out, would the day in which I was to be born be lost, and the night when one said a man has impregnated? He's talking about his mother. When you curse the day that you're born, or you say, I wish I wasn't born, you are proclaiming that God does not know better, that you shouldn't have been born. This, in Judaism, this is literally cursing the name of God. Literally. This is cursing the... If you look up carrying the name of God incorrectly, there are references and situations, and Job is mentioned. Cursing the day you were born and saying you wish your mom was never pregnant with you and meaning it is cursing God. Who created you in the womb? And you're saying you wish it never happened? Uh-oh. But wait, there's more. Let's say for argument's sake that you're very ignorant, you don't know what cursing the name of God means, and you're like, no, he's only cursing his birthday. Uh-oh. Well, now you got a problem, because now in 35 he's going to call God a liar. Uh-oh. It might have been 34. It's either 35 or 34. Hey, wait a minute. What's this right here? Because of the many oppressed ones, they cause people to cry out. They cry for help from the arm of the Almighty. And he did not say, where's my God, my maker, who deals destruction at night? Who is it that deals destruction at night? Uh-oh. You said it was Satan. Who teaches us more than the beasts of the earth, and who makes us wiser than the birds of the sky? Okay, wait a minute. It might have been 34. I don't have the whole thing memorized, guys, okay? In third, here you go. For Job said, I am righteous, and God has deprived me of my right. Who is it that deprived Job of his livestock, his kids, his riches, his health? Was it Satan? Or was it God? You said you believe in the Tanakh. Because of my sentence, I call him a liar. My wound is incurable without transgression. Who is a man like Job who drinks durition like water? Who went on the road to accompany workers of iniquity and to go with the men of wickedness? For he said, a man derives no benefit when he desires to go with God. Therefore, men of understanding, hearken to me. Far be it for God to commit wickedness, for the Almighty to commit injustice. He's basically saying you can't complain when God does something wicked to someone and then bless him for justice. It's the same thing he told his wife. It's the same thing. Okay, well, who called God a liar? Let me double check here real quick. I accuse my judge of being a liar because he did not judge me fairly. Ruh-roh. This is his friend that's raising his voice and trying to talk to Job and tell him, hey, you can't act like this, man. You can't do this. Okay, will he heal even one who hates judgment? Will you accuse even a very righteous one? I think this is also where his friend is trying to talk sense into Job. Uh-oh, is it proper to say of a king that you're a scoundrel, wicked of nobles? Uh-oh. I mean, like, do you really believe that Job didn't curse God? It's all throughout the story. Now, God forgives him and gives him back all his stuff and increases his wealth and all that because God is just. But was Satan correct? When God put the boils on Job and when God removed his kids from breathing on the earth at the time and destroyed his animal flock and his wealth, was Satan correct? Did Job get mad at God? Did Job curse God? And the answer is yes. The answer is yes. Like, if you don't know that, you don't know the book of Job. I'm going to go ahead and stop this because it's going on. I don't want to rant. I'm going to actually include this as discussing Job and Christian. Or actually, I'll probably title it something like Christians Are Dualist. I don't know what I'm going to title it. I might title it something like discussing the book of Job and that Christians are dualists or something. I don't know. I'll find an easier way to say it. I'm going to title it. Thank you all for watching. So to Myvaccine, I know I went on for a long time, but I've watched your videos no matter how long they were. I do apologize for it being so long. But my guy, you cannot say that you believe in the Tanakh when everything that I pointed out, you spoke against the Tanakh. You are a dualist. You do not believe that God can do wicked. You do not believe that God sends curses, even though he says he does. Like the whole thing with the exile of the Jews, God says many times, I will do that. I will smite you. I will hit you with the rod. What is it? Is it Psalms 89? I think it's Psalms 89 that destroys Christianity. and Christians they don't study it. I think it's Psalms 89. I'm not sure. I got to look at it real quick. Give me a second. Okay, I believe it is. So let me pull this up real quick. Psalms 89 destroys Christianity. Multiple points. And I believe it is Psalms 89. Just give me a second. Psalms. Where's it at? Well, it would help if I spelled it right. Spsalms. Okay, it is 89. So 89 verse 2, Israel tells of God in every generation. But you guys believe that Israel does not follow God. You guys believe in a synagogue of Satan and all that other anti-Semitism stuff. So that's 89.2, disproves it. 89 4 through 5 proves the covenant is in every generation with Israel. You guys believe Israel was kicked out of the covenant. Like, I could show you multiple references to that. 89:16 refers to Jews knowing the sound of the shofar, and they walk in the countenance of God. You guys believe that Jews rejected God somehow, and since they were exiled, that they just don't follow God or whatever. I can show you references. If you want to argue about that, I'll gladly debate that. 89:20 through 28, why Israel wins every war and why enemies of Israel can't end them. Why could the Crusades not kill off the Jews when you tried to? You had 16 different Crusades. Yeah, the Crusades were fighting Muslims too, but you guys were killing Jews left and right. Why is it that every single time that Muslims attack Israel, even when greatly outnumbered, outgunned, outmanned, out everything, and it's sneak attack, they can't defeat Israel? Well, it tells you right there. We're still in the same chapter, 89. 29 through 20 proves every generation the covenant with Israel is active. It's not ended. It's active. You all believe that the covenant ended with the Jews, and you all are part of Israel and all this other garbage, which you're not. You're not a Jew. You all believe that you all are the chosen now, which is stupid. You all don't even do Tikkun Olam, and that's the whole reason the Jews were chosen. And you're like, we're the chosen, but we're not going to do the job. We believe in original sin. I mean, like, you don't even believe that you can do the job, and you're saying you're chosen. Like, hello, I can show you references. 31 through 36, this is verses 31 through 36, proves if Israel breaks Torah and walks a path, Hashem will punish them with the rod and enemies, but he will never break the covenant. It's right here, 31 through 36. If his sons forsake my Torah and do not walk in my judgments, if they profane my statutes and do not keep my commandments, I shall punish their transgression with rod, which means smiting them and cursing them with everything under the sun, and their iniquity with stripes. But I shall not cancel my kindness from him. I shall not betray my faith. I shall not profane my covenant, neither shall I alter the utterance of my lips. Well, that's funny because, see, Christians, multiple references, they claim that God does change his mind. He does alter the utterance of his lips of the covenant. But who is it that sends death, disease, enemies, pain to Israel? See, you think it's Satan. It says, I shall punish. It says, I shall not profane my covenant. You guys believe all kinds of crazy stuff. Literally, Psalms 89 defeats Christianity on all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's crazy. 89, 51 through 53. It's retelling Isaiah 53. It points out how the evils of the nations are going against Israel, that they're doing evil to Israel for the generations, and they state the enemies of God. Wait a minute. And states the enemies of God are the ones that curse his anointed. Who is it that hates Israel? Who is it that hates Israel? Who is it that hates Israel? What is the word that God on high uses for people like Myvaccine is Jesus? What is the pronoun here that he's using? Enemies? Uh-oh. The enemies of God? So the people that are against Israel, they're the enemies of God. Now, that's a pretty bold statement. But Myvaccine believes in the Tanakh, guys. I mean, it's right here. It's Psalms 89. It's like, hello. And then you got Judges 2:1. It literally says God will never break his covenant with Israel. Ever. Like, what? You guys believe in the dumbest stuff. And you guys do not believe at all in Tanakh. You do not believe in Tanakh whatsoever. And a messenger of the Lord went up from Gilgal to Bochim and said, in God's name, I will take you up from Egypt, and I have brought you to the land that I have sworn to your forefathers, and said, I will not break my covenant with you forever. Okay, who is talking? It is an angel of the Lord. And they're talking to Israel. And you shall not make a covenant with the inhabitants of this land. Their altars you will smash. But you have not obeyed me. What have you done? Uh-oh, now we're getting into a problem where Jews are recording in their own history where some of the Jews at the time were failing their mission. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What does this next verse say, Mr. Dualist? And I also said, this is verse 3, and I also said, I will not drive them out from before you, and they will be pokers to you, and the gods will be stumbling blocks to you. Who is it that sends other religions as stumbling blocks to Israel? It's God. It's God. You don't believe in the Tanakh. Christians do not believe in the Tanakh. I don't care. You can shout it on the mountaintops. You don't. It can be proven again and again and again and again and again. Like, you guys are nuts. Christians are dualists, and they don't know the book of Job. Actually, that's a good title. Christians are dualists. They do not know the book of Job. That's what I'm going to title this. Thank you all for watching. I got my Community Standards Violator shirt on because all over social media, the entire Western world and the social media, all they want to do is promote ungodliness, immorality, things like that. They ban, they make, it's all fascist. It's silence, silence, silence. They ban you, block you, and everything else under the sun. I was literally, a couple years ago, I was on Facebook talking to Rabbi Michael Skobek because he posted a Torah video. Nothing bad in it. And they removed it and blocked him. And he posted about it the next day. And I was telling him, you can post anything. I cannot tell you how many times I have seen people post pro-Jewish things. It's not. I mean, Christians get canceled too, but being a community standards violator today is like it's a spiritual badge in some cases of honor. Because the rest of the world doesn't like truth. They don't want you to speak about things. I mean, look what's going on right now with that little girl over in Scotland that had to pull out a knife and an axe to defend her younger sister from being raped and kidnapped by a Muslim in Scotland. The police arrested her and not him. They silenced her. They arrested her. And she's a juvenile trying to protect her sister from being raped. And the fools over there, who, by the way, they, well, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to say that because I could get in trouble for saying that. But you're not a true Scotsman if you're the policeman who arrested that little girl. You're not. Your ancestors are cursing you for doing that. They're in their grave. They're cursing you right now. The chatter among your ancestors is so deafening, I can hardly hear myself speak. Can you not hear it? I sure can. Anyways, Like, share, and subscribe, guys. This is Xeon Talks. Christians are dualists, and they do not know the book of Job. Signing out. And again, please like, share, and subscribe. I'm trying to put out some more videos. It's been ages since I put videos on here. And this account is still new, even though it was made about a year ago or whatever. I think I have less than 10 videos on here, but I'm going to try to put out more content. Sending out love and respect to everybody. I pray and I send blessings to all my viewers that got this far. I send you a blessing, yes, even the Christians and the atheists, that God opens your eyes. I send you a blessing that you learn how to investigate claims, that you learn how to find holes in problems with religions, including your own theology. And I pray that you find your way to Torah and that you learn to investigate, ask questions, and that you use truthfulness with a magnifying glass to look at things, and that you find your way to Torah. I send this blessing out to everybody. Okay? Find the truth. Because the nations do not have the truth. The nations are not in the truth. Psalms 115 is literally an entire chapter of Psalms talking about how the nations do not know Torah. They cannot know Torah. They cannot teach Torah. They cannot know Torah. They cannot study Torah. What is the remedy? Well, the prophets tell you the remedy. Find a rabbi. That's how you learn. That's step one. It's not getting the book. I don't care how many books you have. Do you see books behind me? I could have easily set up my bookcase shelf and put all the Jewish books that I have, all the Tanakh, all the Jewish writings, the Mishnah and the Talmud, and I've got books from Kofetz Chaim and Ramkal. I don't need that in the background because it's stupid. Matter of fact, one of these days I'm going to have a bookshelf behind me, and I'm going to have one book on there. One. And I'm going to get this pre-made. I'm going to get some of my friends to make it. And the title of the book is going to be, because people are going to ask, and I'm going to pull it out. And the title of the book will be, I don't need to show you a library of books that I own in order to be correct and right and know Judaism. And it's going to be one book on a shelf, and it's going to look awkward. I'm going to set it up as a joke. And when I debate and I talk, hopefully people will ask me, wait, how come you only got one book? I see all these other people and they're scholars and this and that, and they got 50,000 books, but they don't even know the books. They don't even know the books. Why are you showing off all the books when you don't know them? Why do they not know them? They're from the nations. They did not get a rabbi. Get a rabbi. An Orthodox rabbi. Like, share, and subscribe.